concept of our webinars for All India Drugs Control Officers Confederation. Thank you, sir.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to all the participants to this webinar. Today's webinar in the Pharmacovigilance Program of India for safe medication. So, respected, am I audible? Yes, Raja?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible.
So, I welcoming once again to this webinar all the participants, our EC members, Central Council members, and Secretary General Raja Bhanu and Anil, Treasurer. So, and respected today's guest speaker, Dr. S.C. Mondal, our former EC member of ADCOC, and he's probably you are knowing him that he's one of the founder member of ADCOC since the day of formation. And he's a very active member of ADCOC, and he's doing all these professional activities since he joined as a regulator. He was one of the activists in West Bengal drugs control, and he's associated with a number of organizations, international and national arena, and truly he's an academician. So with this is a great opportunity for us to welcome Dr. Mondal to this webinar. Friends, the objective of today's webinar is to create awareness about regulation and safety surveillance of medical products among regulators, academicians, and manufacturers in order to ensure safety and promote safety of the medicinal products which have been used. So as we know that adverse drug reaction is one of the leading cause of morbidity and mortality worldwide. So consequences of adverse drug reactions burden on healthcare system will increase cost of therapy and prolongation of hospitalizations. And there is an it is estimated that 8% of acute medical admission are due to ADR, and 3% of all approved new medical entities are later withdrawn from the market due to safety reason. So that's the main issue we are focusing in that discussion, that ADR is a adverse drug reactions are public health concern, and Pharmacovigilance Program of India program has huge impact of drug development and regulations. So PVPI program is such an important government of India's flagship program for drug safety program, which reviews and analyzes drug related adverse events in AMCs. As we know, the Indian Pharmacopoeia Commission has been entrusted as a National Coordination Center. As we have the latest amendment in the drugs and cosmetics rules that has been taken place in 2016, March 8, 16 Gazette notification. There's now pharmacovigilance is a legal obligation for the marketing authorization holders. Marketing authorization holders have been mandated to set up pharmacovigilance cell in their companies in accordance with the drugs and cosmetics rules. So, drug exporting companies can set up their PV cell to fulfill legal tasks and to design and to monitor safety of their medical products and to detect any changes for risk-benefit balance. So, lastly, with this coherent and fraudless communication channels have been the key to successful implementation of the Pharmacovigilance Program of India. With these few words, I conclude as introductory remarks about the program, and let's hear from Dr. Mondal. He is the subject expert of this today's webinar. And once again, I welcome Dr. Mondal this today's webinar for his valuable. We are eager to listen from you, sir. Over to Raja. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, Dr. Jayanta, for the brief introduction of the topic as well as a very brief introduction of the speaker. But let me take the privilege of introducing our guest speaker, very well-known and renowned personality in the regulatory circles, Dr. Subhash Mandalji. In fact, I have seen only the brief CV. It itself will have a 30 slides PowerPoint. It can be, but let me try to be as brief as possible, because he has he has got so many accolades throughout his career, both as an academician as well as a regulator, and now, of course, he is one of the key member in the present topic what we are talking about, the Pharmacovigilance PVPI program of India. He doesn't require a serious introduction as such, as you know that Dr. Subhash Mandal is one of our founder members of AIDCOC, All India Drugs Control Officers Confederation, which was started in 1995, 28th December 1995 to Visakhapatnam. He has served AIDCOC as a secretary and editor of AIDCOC newsletter. I think that's one of the a good aspect of it. And Sri Mandalji completed his pharmacy post-graduation, and he has done his PhD from Jadavpur, one of the renowned university in the country, Jadavpur University, who has contributed chapters in 12 books published by several reputed publishers and published several research articles in international journals, and presented more than 150 scientific presentations at different national and international conferences. He was associated with the development and publishing some guidelines on behalf of Ayush department. Dr. Mandal has started his career as an academician, as I rightly said, and then shifted to pharmaceutical industry. And then he served as a pharma regulator for 28 long years under the government of West Bengal, which is not a small thing, and retired as ADDC, and currently is engaged as secretary of Society of Ethnopharmacology and serving as the principal investigator of a project on HBM sponsored by Department DBT, Department of Biotechnology, Government of India. Dr. Mandal also served as guest faculty of Master of Pharmacy, Pharmacy Practice and Clinical Pharmacology, Jadavpur University for 7 years. He is presently serving as editor of Drug Information Bulletin, associate editor, Pharmacy Education Journal, published by International Pharmaceutical Federation, FIP, Hague, and associate editor, Experimental Pharmacology and Drug Discovery of Frontier, Switzerland. Besides these, Dr. Mandal is a member of editorial board and reviewer of several journals of international repute. He is serving as an external examiner of several universities for graduation, post-graduation, and doctoral level. Dr. Mandalji has visited several countries and presented his research work in several conferences and workshops organized by several reputed organizations like WHO, DIA, FIP, PMNCH, INRUD, so on and so forth. He has served in several important committees and task forces formed by different government and international agencies. He is presently serving as a member, National Working Group Pharmacovigilance Program of India, PVPI, Government of India. He is an expert member, Indian Pharmacopoeia Commission, Ministry of Health, Government of India. Member of State Committee for Causality Assessment of AEFI of COVID vaccination, which is the recent one, Government of West Bengal. And he is a recipient of the prestigious IPA Fellowship Award, has been conferred on him in the year 1999 for his outstanding and dedicated service to the profession of pharmacy. He is also the recipient of Eminent Pharmacist Award, the highest award of Indian Pharmaceutical Association. Truly, it's a privilege for us to having Dr. Mandalji on this webinar, sir, on an important topic of pharmacovigilance to ensure safety medication. Sir, I remember one of the quote which is coming from one of our college days. It says that from the Paracelsus, the 16th century German-Swiss physician, saying that all substances are poisonous, including drugs. There is nothing which is not a poison. The right dose differentiates between a poison and a remedy. I think probably we'll be listening from you the kind of a topic which you have selected for us. And I'm sure that all will be benefited by your talk, sir. And I introduce Dr. Subhash Mandalji to the August gathering. And over to you, sir, on this topic. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jayanta Chaudhary and Raja Bhanu, my colleagues, former colleagues, and presently they are also colleagues in different front. For your elaborate introduction, but I am humbled with this very long introduction. But as I am one of you, and we are working for the betterment of the healthcare system from different fronts. The aim of my life is to provide easy access to affordable healthcare to the people, and especially to improve the access to affordable medicine to our people, which are safe and having good quality, and they are safe to the people. So, but today's presentation is not new to you. You know most of this because I heard from Dr. Jayanto and Raja Bhanu about the philosophy of pharmacovigilance. But I have gathered some information during my work with pharmacovigilance program as well as the AEFI, and most of you have the experience of working with the AEFI system because as per the norms in our country, the head of the drug control in district, he is a automatic member of the AHI committee of the district. Similarly, the head of the state, he is the member of the state AEFI committee. So nothing new to you, but let me try to present you in a structured manner. If you have any question or any, suggestions, you are welcome. Uh, I am thankful to the present administration of All India Drug Control Officers Confederation, especially Dr. Jayanta Chaudhary, the president. He requested me a few days back to speak on the pharmacovigilance, and later on, Lakshmi ji also pursued me and just get me at this, podium. So, am I audible and visible?
Yes, sir, you are audible, sir.
And
Visible also.
my presentation is also visible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much.
Make it is full screen. Sure.
Yes, I made it. I will start with a statutory disclaimer. This is the statutory disclaimer where what we used in different, manners. Uh, let us see the structure of my presentation. I'll be talking and coming 42 minutes. The structure includes fundamentals of pharmacovigilance, then why pharmacovigilance system in general, then pharmacovigilance program of India, its evolution, structure and function, and the present status. Then I will include that regulatory provisions, which has already been mentioned by Dr. Jayanta Chaudhary, and the regulatory guidelines to help to implement the regulatory provisions, and finally the conclusion as usual. Well, this is a quote from French philosopher Molière, who said that to undergo treatment, you have to be very healthy because apart from your sickness, you have to withstand the medicine. This is the core issue of pharmacovigilance and the safety of our medicines. Well, the pharmacovigilance terminology is consists of two parts. One is pharmakon, means drug in Greek language, and vigilare, to keep watch in Latin. So
sorry for the interruption, sir. I think the slide has to move to the next level.
Yes, it is not moving.
Second slide, third slide, I believe.
Sir, go for the full screen view, sir, in the presentation.
Yes, I have used the full screen.
It is not showing, sir.
Okay, let me try again.
Yes, sir.
Is it visible?
Is the
Not at full screen.
start with video first slide, video show, slide show.
Okay, again I am joining. Is it okay?
Those
Not
next
okay.
it is still the first slide only. It is going, sir. It is only the first slide. It is appearing.
Second one.
Second one has not started. I mean, the disclaimer slide has not started. Then the structure of presentation has not started.
Okay, then I request Anil to present it.
Yeah, Anil, I think you can take care of it.
Yes, sir. Please, sure, sir. So
Yes,
you can disable the screen sharing, sir. Start it.
Okay. Okay, Anil, please.
Yes, sir. On this.
Yes. I think the first slide is over. The second slide, yeah, disclaimer. I think from here, sir.
Yeah, it is the statutory disclaimer. Next one, please. This is a quote from French philosopher Molière, who said that to undergo treatment, you have to be very healthy, because apart from your sickness, you have to be withstand the medicine. So this is the philosophy behind the pharmacovigilance program as well as the safety of the medicine. Next one, please. Next, please. Okay. The pharmacovigilance terminology consists of two parts, that is the pharmakon, that means drug in Greek language, and the vigilare, to keep watch in Latin language. So in short, it is to keep watch on the drug. Let us see what is the exact definition as per the World Health Organization. It is the science and activities relating to the detection, evaluation, understanding, and prevention of adverse drug reactions of any other drug related problem. Next one, please. Now the question, why pharmacovigilance? Let us find from the humanitarian concern, as the drug is generally marketed with some insufficient evidence of safety from clinical trial, and as a result of some animal experiments, as well as the phase 1 to phase 3 study prior to marketing authorization. This suffers from some limitations. Like first one, the limited size of population is being involved during this process. It is not more than 5,000, and often as little as 500 volunteers are being included in a clinical trial. There is another limitation, that is the narrow population, sometimes only on one narrow population, like different age groups, like medicine are being experimented on a specific age group, say for in adults or sometimes in children, and sometimes in specific age sex. And another limitation is narrow indication. Sometimes a drug is tried for a specific indication, and similarly, the treatment is for short duration, often no longer than a few weeks. These are all different limitations of conducting clinical trial on the basis of the data generated from this clinical trial. The drug is being marketed. So, with these limitations, drug is coming to the market, and that may evolve different findings later on. So, next one, please. Anilji.
1 second. 1 second.
Next slide. Okay. Let us see what are the post-marketing issues those are very important during the post-marketing trial. These issues are very important, and we tried to generate data on the perspective of unexpected adverse reaction, thereafter interaction. There are so many different type of interactions like drug-drug interaction, drug-food interaction, and so on. Then there are some risk factors which may evolve subsequently, and sometimes the quality of life is being compromised by using of some medicines. And another important issue, the long-term efficacy. As the clinical trial is being conducted for a short term, so we do not know what is the long-term efficacy of this drug, and finally the cost assessment. And very unfortunately, this cost component is not being considered by the drug control organization in our country before marketing this. Because the pharmacoeconomics is not being included either in our curriculum as well as not being practiced practically by the government regulatory system. So next one, please. Well, this is a very familiar photograph we studied from our students' days. What is this? This is the outcome of use of thalidomide for the treatment of morning sickness, and as a result of this, the thalidomide disaster has been occurred in 1965. Next slide, please. Well, there are so many examples of such toxicity, like Phocomelia has been developed using thalidomide in 1965. There are several examples, like ADR, like sclerosing peritonitis, related with cractolol in 1975. Similarly, a nephrotoxicity, cholestatic jaundice, related with carfenadine in 1997, and the recent two, that is cardiovascular effect, were associated with rofecoxib, and necessary regulatory measures were taken by our regulatory authorities. Similarly, anxiety, depression, motivation disorders, these are all areas identified during the post-marketing surveillance associated with veralipride in 2007. There are a few examples, but there are a lot of examples. All of you are aware with this. Next one, please. Well, let us shift our focus on the impact of adverse drug reaction on healthcare system. There are a number of statements from different countries. The first statement is medicines are supposed to save lives. Dying from a disease is sometimes unavoidable, but dying from a medicine is unacceptable. This is being published by Lepechin V, a scientist from Geneva, who published it in 2005. Similarly, another situation in US, that adverse drug reactions are among the top 10 causes of mortality, published by Lazarov J and his team in 1998. Another situation in UK, it has been suggested that ADRs may cause 5,700 deaths per year in UK, published by Pir Mohammed and his team in 2004. And another one, they stated that the percentage of hospital administration due to drug-related events in some countries is about or more than 10%. That is published by Bhalla et al. In 2003. These are all statements to express the gravity of adverse drug reaction impact on healthcare system. Next one, please. Well, let us see from the economic impact of ADR's perspective. So, in short, ADRs are expensive, and let us see the situation in US. The cost of drug-related morbidity and mortality exceeds $144.4 billion in 2000, and published by Ernst, Effer, and Griesel A.J. in 2001, published in Journal of American Pharmaceutical Association, and ADR-related cost to the country exceeds the cost of the medication themselves. This is a very important statement that sometimes the cost of management of adverse drug reaction exceeds the actual cost of the treatment of a country. So from this, it is very clear to us what is the economic impact of adverse drug reaction and as a whole on the healthcare system of a country. So next one. Now let us find the major aims of pharmacovigilance. Those are early detection of unknown safety problems, detection of increases in frequency, identification of risk factor, quantifying risk, preventing patient from being affected unnecessarily. So the uh, point of resolving these issues are rational use and safe use of medicines. This should be the mantra of all healthcare professionals. Next slide, please. Now we are shifting towards the WHO program for international drug monitoring. WHO is monitoring this from their headquarters and getting the data, exchanging data from WHO collaboration center situated at Uppsala, Sweden, and all of the national centers like PBPI in India. They are feeding this WHO collaboration center with the ADR data, which is being published by WHO Pharmaceutical Newsletter and available to all of you. You can use this data. Next one, please. Let us come to the pharmacovigilance program of India. I'll take the history. Next one, please. Well, this pharmacovigilance issue is not a newer one. It has been mentioned in the Charak Samhita in 700 BC, where they caution the properly understood but improperly administered drug is like a poison, as already mentioned by Rajabanu. And the another statement by Bhagavato, a physician, who described adverse events, contraindication, delayed adverse drug reactions to Ayurvedic drugs way back in 500 AD. There are several published literature on adverse drug reactions from India in the history of modern medicine, but there was no systemic effort for ADR monitoring. So till then, we were aware about the adverse drug reaction, but there were no systemic evaluation and taking measures by our country. Let us here just see from the next slide, please. Here is the point. My friends, all of you are aware that earlier some of the drugs were banned in our country on the basis of findings on adverse drug reaction in other countries, especially from different advanced countries. But why the ADR data from our country is required? Besides ethnic, nutritional, disease prevalence, and genetic differences, variation in prescribing practice affect benefit risk ratio. One of such example, as you can recall, that once pioglitazone was banned in our country because of its high occurrence of bladder cancer reported from different other countries. But subsequently, there were some data reported from our country who stated that the low occurrence of blood cancers with pioglitazone and the pioglitazone is still relevant and there is no alternative in this category of pioglitazone for the treatment of diabetes. So pioglitazone is being used till today. So you can easily understand what is the need of generating data in the population or amongst the population of our country. So next one, please. The first attempt was made in 1989 to form a structured pharmacovigilance system in our country, the DCGI started Adverse Drug Monitoring Center at 6 centers like Delhi, Mumbai, Calcutta, Lucknow, Chandigarh, and Pondicherry with the purpose of spontaneous reporting, intensive hospital monitoring, and focused reporting. India also joined the WHO UMC Monitoring Center program since 1998, having National Pharmacovigilance Center at AIMS Delhi and the GS at Medical College of KEM Hospital Mumbai. They were recognized as the WHO Special Center. So this was the first attempt of establishing a pharmacovigilance system in our country, but very unfortunately that was not successful and subsequently it was aborted. Next one, please. Now we'll see the next or second attempt of establishing a new system, which was attempted in 2004 with a World Bank added pharmacovigilance program with a National Pharmacovigilance Center. They also had one pharmacovigilance advisory committee having two zonal centers, one center for the Northeast at AIMS Delhi and for Southwest at the GSMC KEM Mumbai. They also established four regional centers for North, East, South, and West, having good number of peripheral centers at medical college and hospital as well as the pharmacy colleges. And Mumbai center was authorized to send the ADR data to the WHO monitoring center. Again, this also had the same fate of the first attempt. It was not continued and not successful, and it was subsequently stopped because it was started as a project mode with the aid from World Bank. Well, let us see from the next slide. Next slide, please. The third attempt and the ongoing program. The third attempt was started in July 2010 under the CDSCO Ministry of Health and Family Welfare with National Coordination Center at AIMS New Delhi, and subsequently the NCC was shifted to Indian Pharmacopoeia Corporation, Ghaziabad, in April 2011, having its member secretary, the Dr. G.N. Singh. And this program was continued and still it is existing. Next slide, please. Well, let us try to understand the structure of the present pharmacovigilance system and the data flow from the consumer to the Uppsala Monitoring Center. At the center, we have the National Coordination Center at IPC Ghaziabad. There, the main authority, and it is an center under CDSO, Government of India, and they have four different committees: steering committee, working groups, and four other committees. The role of steering committee is monitoring the entire activity of pharmacovigilance program, and working group, which I belong, the role of this group is to advise both steering committee as well as the other committees and getting the data from them. So there are four committees at the NCC, that is Signal Review Panel, the Core Training Panel, Quality Review Panel. These three committees are involved in the quality checking of the data captured by different centers and doing its causality assessment before it is being fed in the Uppsala Monitoring Center. And under this NCC, there are several ADR monitoring centers. Around 500 centers are there throughout the country at different medical college, hospitals, and some pharmacy colleges, especially in the post involving those who are in the new courses. And there are definite role for different zonal offices who are generally extending the administrative support to the Adverse Drug Monitoring Center. Here is an example how the data captured by the healthcare professionals and the patients, which is at the bottom. The data is being sent to the Adverse Drug Monitoring Center or directly to the National Coordination Center. If it is reported to Adverse Drug Monitoring Center, they undergone the causality assessment. What is this causality assessment? I'll discuss it in later. Then National Coordination Center is also related with CDSCO headquarter, and they are exchanging data with CDSCO headquarter and the pharmaceutical industries, National Immunization Program, that is the associated with AEFI reporting, and the professional bodies. They are also reporting to the CDSCO headquarters, but recently there is agreement between the National Coordination Center and now the pharmaceutical industries, National Immunization Program, and the professional bodies. They are also reporting to both headquarters and the National Coordination Center, and the National Coordination Center is also responsible for exchanging data with Uppsala Monitoring Center, monitored by the World Health Organization. This is in short about the structure of pharmacovigilance program and its data flowing. So next slide, please. Well, let us see the function of different stakeholders. The first stakeholders, ADR monitoring centers, who are monitoring and reporting of ADRs. The next stakeholder is NCCP-BPI. They are involved in preparation of SOPs, guidance document, and training manual, data collection, cross-check completeness, causality assessment, etc. as per SOPs, conduct training, workshop, and CMEs, publication of medicine safety newsletter, reporting to CDSCO headquarters, and the next stakeholder is zonal and sub-zonal office of CDSCO. They are providing administrative support to ADR monitoring centers. And the CDSCO headquarters situated at New Delhi, they take appropriate regulatory decisions and actions on the basis of recommendation of PBPI NCC, and they are propagating the safety related decisions to the stakeholders. Sorry, next one, please. Well, this is an example of a structured format to capture the data by healthcare professionals. One healthcare professional required to fill up this format and required to send it to the nearest AMCs or directly to the NCC. And there are some other format for the general public also, and that has been published in 10 different local languages, including different like Hindi, Bengali, Urdu, Telugu, and so on. Next one, please. Well, here is an important issue for which need to understand during reporting. So whenever you are inputting any report regarding the adverse drug reaction, you know, there are different terminologies being utilized, used for expressing different clinical symptoms. So if you don't report in the same language, same terminology, it is very difficult to analyze the data. So there are two different dictionary type of document. First one is WHO ART, the WHO Adverse Drug Reaction Technology, a terminology which has been published by World Health Organization. That can be followed, and the another document in MEDRA, that is known as Medical Dictionary for Regulatory Activities. There are different separate dictionary for regulatory activities. And this terminology, this book has been published by ICH under the IFP-MA. These are very useful to adopt for reporting by the healthcare professionals. Next one, please. Well, let us see how to collect, analyze, and evaluation of adverse drug reaction data. Let us take the example of healthcare professionals. They required to fill the suspected adverse drug reaction form. Thereafter, they used to send it to the nearest ADR monitoring center or directly to the National Coordination Center. If the data is available with the adverse drug monitoring center, they undergo the causality assessment. This is a very important scientific technology by which you have to assess whether the particular adverse drug reaction you are suspecting is related with the the drug you used or not. After assessing if it is really associated with a particular drug, then you enter into the PG flow system and forward to the National Coordination Center. After collecting the data by the National Coordination Center, those were analyzed and sent to CDSO for regulatory intervention. And finally, this CDSO is required to take the decision, and they have already taken some decision. As you are aware, I'll take it later on. And the CDSO as well as the National Coordination Center is being communicated this advanced drug reaction to the WHO Uppsala Monitoring Center. Next one, please. Well, this is something about the pharmacovigilance program of India initially started, but there are some other parallel programs like Pharmacovigilance program HBPI, which has started since 10th December 2012 in collaboration with National Institute of Biologicals. It is related with the adverse drug reaction with associated with drug and drug products. Similarly, there is another program that is the Material Vigilance program, that is MVPI, which has been started since 6th July 2015. And they use IPC as the National Coordination Center, and Sri Chitra Tirunal Institute of Medical Science and Technology is functioning as the National Collaborating Center. And the National Health System Resource Center under Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India, working as the Technical Support and Resource Center. Next one, please. Well, let us summarize with the data analysis and the action taken by the regulatory authorities. A few examples are here. Say, for example, that Stevens-Johnson syndrome and toxic epidermal necrolysis was identified by the PBPI with carbamazepine, and they have recommended or include it in the safety level change, as well as doing screened for HLA B1502 prior to carbamazepine. The CDC also requested the state and UT drug controller to include this in the package insert in the year of 2015, and several other examples like piperacillin tazobactam related with hypokalemia and bronchospasm, and the recent two, the proton pump inhibitors related with acute kidney injury, and the CDSU has also circulated one circular to the state government to include this acute kidney injury in the leaflets and prescribing information in 2019. Similarly, another recent one, that cardiac arrest was associated with use of ranitidine, and the CDSU has also requested all state, government, the licensing authority to include it in the package inserts on the basis of recommendation. Well, next one, please. Here are different the organizations who are collaborating with PVPI of India, and they have their own role. Next one, please. This is the beginning of the regulatory intervention, and it is mandatory to report the adverse drug reaction during the clinical trial. It has been included in the Schedule Y under the post-marketing surveillance. Next one, please. This has also mentioned under the new drug and clinical trial rule 2019 under the post-marketing assessment of new drug, and when it is required, when a new drug manufacturing and marketing, in case of a new drug import and marketing, so the pharmacovigilance system shall be managed by the qualified and trained personnel with having the experience in this area. Next one, please. During the post-marketing surveillance, it is mandatory that periodic safety update reports. This is a specific this needs specific knowledge for analyzing the data and the reporting, and each and every MAH needs to report the PSUR every 6 months for 2 years. First 2 years, thereafter it is once in year for 2 years. The central licensing authority are authorized to extend this reporting time depending on the need of the public health, and this periodic safety update report required to be submitted from the within the 30 days of the period is over, and in case of serious adverse reaction, they are required to report to the licensing authority within the 15 days of the occurrence of such adverse reactions. And if marketing of new drug is being delayed, in that case, the reporting date should start with the date they actually the marketed it. Next one, please. The CDSO as well as the Indian Pharmacopoeia Commission have published different documents for implementation of this regulatory requirement. They have published pharmacovigilance guidance documents for marketing authorization holders of pharmaceutical products in the year of 2018. This can be utilized by the marketing authorization holders to implement this requirement. Next one, please. This reporting is mandatory because it has already been included under 28 section 28.2 of the revised Schedule M, that report of serious adverse drug reactions resulting from the use of a drug along with comments and documents shall be forthwith reported to the concerned licensing authority, so that new drug as well as the drug the approved subsequently required to report about their adverse drug reaction. Next one, please. Let us try to conclude this long discussion. First one is adverse drug reaction has major impact on health in terms of social, quality of life, and financial. Each stakeholder like us have its definite role to play. Then pharmacovigilance providing data to act by all stakeholders in healthcare system, including regulators. I have given a few examples. It is clear to you all that like all other stakeholders, the regulators have the definite role in case of implementing the data outcome, and PVPI playing a vital role in the area of medication safety. With this, I would like to conclude and thank you very much for your patient hearing. Here is the last information, that is, here is a toll-free number 1800-180-3024 through which you can take the help from the NCC PPI if you feel in case of reporting of ADRs. So with this, thank you all. Thank you very much. Now the floor is yours for the question and suggestions. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Mandal, for your lucid presentation, exhaustive presentation on the PVPA program of India and the genesis, the kind of things which the attempts has been made in this country and its impact globally also, and the reporting pattern, signal, the causative analysis of all those ADRs and all. I think that's a wonderful presentation, sir. I think the floor is now open for Q&A. I think now Anil will try to check if there are any Q&As are there. I think in that way, if we can, then we can answer it, sir.
So good morning, sir. We have a couple of questions. We will take one by one, sir. The first one is from Dr. Nishit MC. Sir, is it possible to report the ADRs came out of herbal products as well as traditional drugs to PVPA? Are any other mechanism available for reporting ADRs related to herbal drugs?
Well, that is a very good question. And subsequent to this establishment of these three type of pharmacovigilance program, the government of India under the Ministry of Ayush, they also started one pharmacovigilance program for Ayush drugs and the drugs originated from tradition as well as the herbal drugs. So that is also there. Their head, they have their NCC at Delhi and having several zonal centers throughout the country. And they also published one, format for reporting. Each and everybody can report to it. So thank you for your interest.
So the next question, so the Schedule Y are the latest clinical drugs, clinical trial and new drugs rules. These rules vest the responsibility of ADRs with respect to new drugs only on the manufacturers or the licenses. Coming to the old drugs, it's whose responsibility to report the ADRs? Is there any vested responsibility?
Well, this is a very nice and important question for the regulators.
Yeah.
The first thing is a thing that anybody and everybody can report into the pharmacovigilance program of India. But my point is this, that Schedule Y is no longer exist. It has been abolished in the New Drug and Clinical Drug Act in 2019, but still it is included there. And the manufacturing companies who are marketing the new drugs, they are required to report it, as I discussed with during my presentation. But the section 28.2 of Schedule M is mandatory for all drugs, new or the drugs subsequently developed and existing drugs. So each and every marketing authorization holders required to submit the data on adverse drug reaction on each and every medicines marketed in our country. It is mandatory now.
Okay. So another opinion by Dr. Nishit, sir. I will put it in the different way and in the format of questions, sir. So what's your guidance for the regulator in India, sir? Apart from the CDSO who is now involving into this monitoring of ADRs, what about the role of state drug regulators? How to improve the system and way forward for PVPA in India?
Yes, that in that section it was mentioned the concerned licensing authority. The manufacturing authorization holder should submit the report to the concerned licensing authority. In case of new drug, it is the central government, and in case of the older drug or subsequently approved drug by the licensing authority in the state, they are required to submit the data to them, and it is the responsibility of the state drug control officers to get it done.
Yes, sir. So one more question from Dr. PBN Prasad Ji from CDSCO. Sir, any drugs have been banned based on the ADR reporting in India as of now?
Well, this is also a very important question. Till then, as far as my knowledge goes, the CDSCO has instructed state and central licensing authorities to include the caution in the leaflets and some other measures. Not exactly any drug has been banned in our country on the basis of data generated by PVPI system.
Yes, I think those are the questions. Sir. few more questions are coming, sir, that will sum up and will forward in the after the webinar, sir. Sir, with your permission, can we share the PPT to all the participants?
No, Anil, I think you can have this PPT, and as well as the video is already there in the YouTube.
Live, sir. Yeah.
That is one thing. I think I can, as a Secretary General, I can have a privilege of asking a couple of questions.
Yes, please.
Sir, so as you said that you are now on the member for this causality analysis of the latest vaccine also of COVID. Can you throw some light on that, sir? Any AEFI and the causality analysis is linked to the vaccine?
Well, not really at our point, a West Bengal perspective of thing, but already the Central Committee of AEFI, they have showed some sort of concern about some, vaccines for COVID-19. But that is the minor causal relations are there, but nothing to be worried with COVID vaccines in our country at least.
That's an assurance. Nice. So how about the idiosyncratic reactions with respect to drugs, which I think even in this group, which we are now participating, even many of them, of course, we are all, we all know that the issue of the penicillin and all, and so is the case with certain other drugs like chloramphenicol and even diclofenac and other ampicillin group. All those things are there. But will you be taking this as a signal, sir, or is it will be only like left it as an idiosyncratic reaction?
Not exactly so. On the basis of the adverse drug reaction on diclofenac or aceclofenac, the government of India as well as the several regulatory agencies have taken some decisions that in our country, you know that they have published some caution, and these are not really idiosyncratic. When we are unable to understand how it is happening, in that case, we can consider it idiosyncratic. Now it is well known to us regarding these reactions of aceclofenac, diclofenac, and some other things. And there is a very important point I missed to tell you during my deliberations. What is the difference between side effect and adverse drug reaction? Sometimes we confuse with the side effect and adverse drug reactions. So there is a very the thin lining between these two. When the adverse drug reaction is known to us, that is known as side effect, but which is not yet understood and known to us, that is the adverse drug reaction. This should be clear at first, and then comes idiosyncratic. Idiosyncratic is always idiosyncratic until unless we are really aware about the pharmacogenetics relation with this drug, we cannot explain how this idiosyncratic reaction is going on.
Sure. Any issues on the hemovigilance aspects of it, sir? Any issues which you have come across, ADRs, with respect to the transfusions of blood and other aspects of it?
Well, I haven't came across with some relation, warning or something else from the hemovigilance program. This is very new. Let us wait for some elaborate data.
Sure. Great. So I think that's a very interesting deliberations today, sir, coming from Dr. Mandalji on the topic of pharmacovigilance. I think, as you said, that all regulators should be aware of this one and should try to guide the healthcare professionals and as well as all other things involved in the chain to see that the proper reporting of these aspects are coming to the centers and therefrom to the Uppsala UMC. I think that way. I think today is a day where the former Prime Minister Indira Gandhi's birthday is there, and I just take one moment of that. What about her quote? What it has been said in her own words. She said that my grandfather once told me that there were two kinds of people: those who do the work and those who take the credit. and he told me to try to be in the first group because there is much less competition. So I think AIDCOC also, sir, stands to do much good work rather than take any credit. I think we have been like this for the last 25 years, and we'll try to continue the good work, sir. And people like you and who have been there associated for the past 25 years, and we expect you to be with us as in the AIDCOC, associated with us with the many good programs coming up from us. Thank you so much, sir, for taking the time, the energy, and all sparing for us. And trying to give one of the best presentations here, sir. I think over to
Thank you very much.
our President Jayantaji for his closing remarks on this.
Thank you, Raja, and thank you once again, Dr. Mondal, for your very lucid presentation and wonderful lecture on Pharmacovigilance Program of India, and any insightful history of PVPI and formation and structure from pharmacovigilance in throughout the world. And as we all know, Dr. Mondal, that medicine are known as the double-edged sword. So as the limitations of clinical trial exist in our system, and post-marketing surveillance and post-marketing what we call as a post-marketing assessment in the context of pharmacovigilance is of any kind of formulation is very, very important, as product recalls is a regular phenomenon. Because you have mentioned that is thalidomide in 1965, tarpenadine and practolol in 1975. So impact of ADRs in healthcare system and has huge impact on economic impact also. So we have elaborated the WHO program and analysis, evaluation, total evaluation procedures. So and we are very much benefited, particularly regulators are very much benefited on your lecture. You have mentioned the causality assessment as per WHO EMC scale. But one thing I find that this reporting of adverse event is very important. If the healthcare professional does not report the adverse event, how you will conclude that this product is this causality has been by the evaluation of safety of the product. So to achieve this conclusion by the National Coordination Center and Uppsala Monitoring Center, Sweden. So the reporting by the healthcare professionals of any kind of adverse event happening after the product is launched by the marketing authorization holders throughout the country is very paramount important. So let us conclude that is a very good learning session for us. So thank you once again, Dr. Mondal. And
thank you very much. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to be with the platform which we witnessed the formation of this platform. So thank you very much for giving this opportunity. I am proud to be here.
Sir, our greetings from all our EC members and Central Council, sir, and our directors, Honorary Director General Ravi Uday Bhaskar, and as well as our advisor, Sri S.W. Deshpande, to you, sir. And thanks to Anil for coordinating entire session in the absence of our coordinator Lakshmi Prasanna for the training session. Thank you very much, sir. Once again, we will be bothering you again for certain sessions like this, because you are a renowned speaker for the national as well international on these aspects, on pharma aspects and all, and you are a born regulator, academician. I think we will be happy to see you again and again, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Also.
Thank you, Anil. Thank you, Dadaji. For
thank you, everybody. Thank you for the participant for listening to me.
Yes, sir.
So thank you.
Nice. Thank you so much.